Hey guys, welcome to Ben Wrenchin. My name is Ben, and yes, I am still wrenching on this 2011 Mazda CX-7. Today I'm going to fix the issue that it's got with the driver window. So if you have a window that goes down just fine, but when you go to put it up it does this, then this video is for you. So I'll start out by showing you the free fix. So if you pull up on the window while you hit the up button, you can get it to catch and roll your window up. But over time you'll get sick of doing that and you'll want to fix it. And luckily I found the $5 part that is going to fix that problem. So to replace this gear we'll have to take the door panel off. Then we can access the window motor that's got this gear on it. We'll swap this out and then it'll fix the problem. So I'm going to try to use as few tools as I can to get this done. I've got a trim removal tool and a classic Phillips screwdriver. I'm going to start inside here and take out this plastic piece. I can get the trim tool underneath it and take it out. That gives me access to this screw, so I'll go ahead and take that out. And with that screw out, there's just one more screw. Behind the door handle is another plastic cover. I'll just pull the handle open and get behind it with the trim tool. It's easier to get underneath it from this side here. And I should have known 2 tools wasn't going to be enough because I can't get behind this with the trim tool. But I've got a pick that I can reach around the back side over here and pry this out. So any angled pick should work. I'm going to try to pry gently so I don't break this plastic cover. All right, and it just went flying, but I did get it off. So this has got 3 tabs that hold it on the back side. You can't really pry on all those at the same time, and there isn't a little notch in this like there normally is with pieces like this. So I found it best to just get under it on this side and pull out. I don't see a better way to get that off, so luckily I didn't break it. Hopefully you don't break yours. I'll find that replacement piece and link it in the description in case you do break it. But there's just one more screw underneath this handle, so I can take that out. And with both of those screws out, I just need to use my trim tool to go around the perimeter of the door trim panel and pull this off. I like to start at the bottom corner. You can go around until you find one of the clips. Once you pry it out enough, you can get your fingers underneath it and pop it out the rest of the way. And then I can pop out the rest of the bottom. Don't worry if pieces of the clips come flying out because I can show you how to replace these. Those are generally a one-time use anyway. And with the bottom released, I can go ahead and start on the top. If I go at it on this side, it feels like there's still one more attached. Yep, there we go. So with all those released, the panel is just hanging on the hook at the top. So from there I can lift up on the bottom and just release it out of that hook. I guess it helps to have the window all the way down. And that helps to get underneath it and pull it up the rest of the way. This corner piece here, you could probably take it out to make it a little easier, but I'm just gonna try to get around it. And there we go. With that, the whole door panel is off. There are connections to the door handle that I'll need to take off. These are pretty easy to remove and I can show you what they look like once I get this out. So I got both of those out. I just have an electrical connector right here. It's just got a tab that you push and then you can pull it out. And there are a few more electrical connectors down here. I'll get those removed too. And I'll show you what all these look like once I get them off. And I prop the door panel up so that I can get to this last one because it's a little bit difficult to release. I'm gonna use this small set of adjustable pliers to get on the tab that is on this side of it. And I'll show you this once I've got it off. There we go. So with all those released, the door panel is loose now, and I can set this aside for now. So I removed this piece to show you how these clip on. Each of these just slides into a notch. One is for the lock. So once it's in, it doesn't come out unless you turn it the right way to get it to release. And it's the same thing for the door latch right here. It's got a slot that this one feeds into, and that's how the door latch works. So you just need to turn that until it pops out. But you don't have to take this piece off. I just did that to show you how those connect. All of these connectors are pretty standard. This last one was the one that I had the most trouble with, but it's just got a push tab right here. You push that down and pull it out. And it's the same for the rest of these. They've just got a push tab that you push down and pull out. But they're pretty much all the same and pretty easy to take out once you know how they work. I should also mention that you don't have to take the whole door panel off because all we're after is this window motor here. The electrical connector for that motor has a tab on the back side. So I'm going to use these pliers to get that out as well. And once I've got that released, there's just 3 10mm bolts here. And so I'll take all 3 of these out. And once I've got all those out, I can get the motor off. And with that off, the gear that we're after is inside here. To get this cover off to access the gear, I can flip it over, and there are two tabs. One is right here and the other is on this side. And I can use this same pick to get in here and release these tabs. And I'll have to release both at the same time, but once I do, this cover will come off. So a second set of hands would make this easier because you can release both tabs and then have somebody pull that apart. But I'm going to try to do it by myself with it propped up. I can get both of those tabs released and then hopefully push back on it. And I've got both of those released, but I can't really push back on it, and I'm afraid I'm going to break those tabs. If you break these, it's okay because the bolts that hold the motor on are going to cinch that together. I did break one of the tabs, so I'll go ahead and push that through. So I really wanted to do this without breaking both of these tabs, but I am going to go ahead and break both of them. There really isn't a way to get this separated while you're holding that tab open. And with both of those tabs broken off, I can just hammer right here and knock the cover off. And there we go, the whole thing came out. So with it open, I did only have one piece fall out, and this is actually a piece of a ring that goes around the top of that gear. But now I can just take this top gear off, and there is an O-ring in that hole on the back side of this, so I want to make sure that stays in. This is the ring that I was talking about, and there is the piece that came flying out. So it's going to go right there, and that whole thing can just stay like that. But this gear here is the part that we're going to replace. These teeth that are missing up here is where the window would catch and just start grinding, and that is what's causing our window failure. So I'm going to replace that piece. I want to make sure that there isn't an O-ring on the back of it, and there isn't, so we're good. This does have to go on with these three pieces facing up so that this ring has something to sit into. So I'm going to slide this on here, transfer the ring over. This gear came out when I knocked the cover off, but it goes right on top of this one. This one has female notches cut into it, and the male notches on this one fit inside there. So I'll put that one just like that. I'll slide this back on, keeping in mind that it's got three tabs that are going to fit inside of these. And it'll be easier for me to put the ring inside here because then I can take this gear and slide it on the correct position, making sure that that ring is going to fit inside the grooves of the gear that we replaced. And once I've got those lined up, it snaps right into place, and I can flip this over and drop it right on top. And then, like I said, this cover just cinches back on, and then the bolts that hold this motor in are going to hold that shut. So you really don't need those tabs, but it is nice to have them if you're able to save them. I wasn't, but it's still going to function just fine. So now I can reinstall this motor. I've got the three mounting holes for the bolts. So the teeth of that gear are going to fit in here just right, so I can move that around a little bit. And then once I'm able to turn this and get it to fall into place, then those bolt holes will line up. And I can only turn this a little bit because of this piece here. So I'm going to wind up this gear just a little bit to reposition it. And I'll keep moving that until I get it into place where I can slide it in. So I'll turn it the other way. And that slid right into place when I did that. So you just got to kind of mess with that back gear until you get it to where it'll slide right in. But now I can replace these three bolts. And this back piece is loose now, so I'm going to have to take this panel off so that I can get to it and push from the back side. I think I can just take a couple of these bolts off and have enough room to get my hand back there. This one's just a nut, and that's attached to a piece behind it, so I want to make sure that stays put. I'm going to put this back for now while I take the other bolts out. So I'll take a couple of these off and see if that gives me enough room. And then I'll take this nut back off, and there's a trim fastener right here. So hopefully when I take this out, I'll have enough space to get back there. And with that out, that should give me enough room to get in here. But just for good measure, I'll go ahead and take this one off too. I might as well since I'm this far. So that is the whole top part. I can continue taking more out to give myself more and more room to get this off. But I would really suggest just doing as many as you need to get to the back of that. And that's if yours separated from this panel the way mine did. But that one definitely gives me enough room to get back here, get this cinched back up against the panel, get the motor back on in the correct orientation. And then I just need to get one bolt through from one side to the other. I'll make sure that that goes all the way through. And hopefully as I tighten this down, I can feel it coming out the back side of that hole. And there it is, I can feel it, so I got one started. Hopefully that'll line the other two up, or at least allow me to turn this and get them lined up. I am going to leave my hand back here just in case it's not, but I should be able to hold the back side and thread this in. And that's cinched down, so I think we're good there. And that means that the third bolt hole should be lined up, and it should thread in there with no issue. Alright, so that was a little silly, but I got it in. I'll cinch these down pretty tight just to make sure everything stays together. But now that that's back on, I want to make sure that I can get this nut back onto this piece. I don't know what this is, but I can feel it right up here. So I'm going to get this on first, and then I'll put all of these bolts back in this panel. In case you weren't counting either, I took 5 out, not including the plastic fastener. So I'll get all those back in. All right, and with all those back in, I'll just make sure they're all tightened down. This screw type plastic fastener, I can take out the screw completely. That way I can pinch down these tabs and get it back in. And then once that's back in, this just pops right in. I can go ahead and reconnect the motor connector. And now I'm ready to put the panel back on the door. And all these fasteners that broke apart when I took the door panel off, I can use one of the 5 trim removal tools in this kit to get underneath them and pry them off. Since they're broken, I'm not too worried about saving these because I can replace them. So I can get underneath the backside of them with a pick, get my trim tool in here, and then I can pop it out. That one went flying. So I'm gonna do that for all of these that broke off. And I have a kit of trim fasteners that I can replace these with. So I think I might have saved maybe 1.5 of these. And I'll use my ancient Chinese trim fastener kit, and I believe it's going to be this one here. It is called Trim Panel Retainer D12. So I will try to find some of those and link them in the description for you guys, because this kit is probably not going to have enough of these. But I'll use all of them that I have and hope that that holds the door panel on good enough. The kit does come with 20 pieces of these, so in my defense, I've used this kit for years and I've probably already stolen a bunch of these. And the good news is that a few of them did actually stay with the panel like they're supposed to. So I'm gonna at least replace the corners. So I may need to get a new fastener kit. I may just get more of these and dump them in there. But you can see here where all of the clips are on this panel. So now I can hold this panel up and get all 4 of these reconnected. And they can really only go on one way. I'll get the handle piece back on. I'll get this connector back in here. And then last, I've just got the 2 cables for the handle and the lock. I'll leave this disconnected so that I can get these in first. I'll try this from the other side and see if that helps. So I can confirm that this is no easier from the other side. But I think my best bet is going to be to pop this back out, locate my cable, hang the door back up. Alright, so from here I got this far. I can hold the door up. I got the cable sticking out. I got the latch mechanism popped out so I can see where the lock needs to go. And that's why it's so difficult to get it placed, because you got to turn this cable to get that in there. So I'll get that lined up, and that's good. So now I can pop this back in and hope that it stays put. And that last electrical connector is connected. I'm going to hang the door on the lip. From there, I can get the panel over the lip on the top. I'm going to need to get the front end first because I did not remove this piece. It's actually going to be easier to go ahead and pop this off. I believe it comes straight back, but it might pull out this way. Nope, just pulls straight out. There we go. That's going to make hanging this door a lot easier. All right, and that's in place. This just has 2 clips on it. I was in danger of breaking this one, but I didn't actually break it. But you do just pull this straight out. It's got a different Christmas tree connector, and this one's yellow. So I'll pop this back in now that I'm done. I'll go ahead and get all the fasteners in place. And all those feel good. Next, I can get the screw back into the door handle, put this cover back on. I'll get this screw back in here, throw that cover back in there, and with that, everything is put back together, and most importantly, we got that gear replaced on that window motor. So here's a somewhat embarrassing look of all the tools that it took me to do that. I will link these in the description in case you don't have any of these. But all of that just to change out one $5 gear. So now the thing that both you and I really want to see is, does the window work? So it definitely goes all the way up. And it also goes all the way down. And the auto feature still works, so that's a plus. I'm gonna call that a win. I think everything worked out well. So I'll be honest, that was a little more of a pain than I thought it was gonna be. But we got it done, so that's the important thing. And now I can move on to the last project of this car, which is changing out the rear brakes. I've already got the parts, so I'm gonna tackle that tomorrow. And then I am gladly gonna give this car back to its owner. So subscribe if you wanna see that or any of the other content that I have on this Mazda CX-7. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video.